Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with Harvard educated educator, author, and YouTuber, Dr. Elechi Osueke. Hey, Dr. Osueke, it's great to have you back.
Thank you, and it's my pleasure to be back.
Well, great. I am so excited today because I want to talk to you about YouTube and just all the growth on YouTube. So, Dr. Osueke, you've had a very successful YouTube page with about 34K followers. And looking at your videos, you have at least 30K average views on each of these videos. Now, what inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
Thank you for the question. What inspired me to start my YouTube channel was the pandemic. That's the simplest answer. My YouTube channel was started during the pandemic. I'll almost say by accident, but it was just the best way to keep the channels of communication going for my children and their families. In a nutshell, it started because I had families reaching out and I could not sustain the amount of communication and the information I was sharing when we were in person. And so that forced me to start creating short videos that I was just sending to families and just tips. Okay, this is what you can do to help out with a writing assignment. Just do this to help him with his math task. And what started happening was, and also my sister had my nieces, my nephews at the time were really I think the first was in first grade or second grade, and she needed the help. So I was just creating these tiny videos that I was just sharing. And I was getting the responses, oh, I shared your videos with my friend, or I passed your video along. And eventually it came down to, can you just put this video on YouTube or somewhere where we can all access it? And I was stunned. I put the first video on and I didn't expected maybe 4 or 5 people to take a look. And I was just amazed that there was actually viewership. And I posted the second video, and then I decided to be more intentional about my videos now and just learn how to edit and maybe make my content shorter. But a lot of my YouTube channel is also some of my personal journey in the process. But in a nutshell, the inspiration came from working with my families, my classroom families, and just wanting to support them, especially during the pandemic when it was almost a full year of just being virtual. And I had to take that bold step at the time. And I'm very thankful for the experience and for the journey.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, is there a certain platform that you like to use to edit your videos for YouTube?
Believe it or not, CapCut.
It's great. It's great. You can't go
Yes.
wrong with CapCut.
Yes,
Everybody loves it.
CapCut, because yes, a lot of my videos are shot like using my phone, or I invested at the time in a camera, but I realized I'll just it was still connected to my phone. And so it was just a lot of self work. I would do the videos and self editing. So I use CapCut, I use iMovie at the time. Yeah, that's really it.
Now, what would be your biggest tips on growing a YouTube channel in regard to viewers and subscribers?
Okay. Do think it's very hard to just break into YouTube without an established audience. Now I know it's hard to get an established audience, but in my experience, what helped was already having some sort of platform or some sort of community that was waiting already. And so it just grew from there. So for me, it was already having an established classroom family that I knew was already there waiting to receive the videos. And so from there, it grew to, okay, there is a group here that, especially parents of young children, elementary learners, and their families can learn from this. So I always recommend, I'm like, well, if you wanted to start a YouTube channel on painting or makeup, just make sure that there is a niche. And there is always a group of people waiting. Maybe sometimes it's finding that connection, and then from that connection, building off of it. In terms of growing viewership, I think is also having some partnerships. When I say partnerships, I had an initial partnership that helped. I partnered with a school that showed some of my videos in the classrooms, and that also helped. But I did some work of promoting and you know, making it known that I was there. So those are the kind of advice I have.
Well, that's great. And That partnership and collaboration, it's just couldn't be more helpful. It's a great idea, especially as a teacher and just looking at your market, the schools, the parents, the children. Now, how have you best monetized your YouTube?
I have best monetized my YouTube by, shall I say, repurposing the money
Right.
back into the education field. So from the YouTube was where I got the inspiration for because it was never my intention to monetize. It was just, I started it out as something to do, to share and to reach my families. And then I got to the point where I became monetized. And I realized, okay, well, with this I can do more. I actually have a website that's free. On my website, I do share a lot of free resources. The website came first before the channel because that was the platform where I had a lot of digital files that I'd created over time that I could share. And then from there, now I had the YouTube channel that was a media file, that was videos that I could share. And from being monetized there, I realized there are so many things I can do with this platform to actually continue to reach the children and reach the families. I do believe we have the potential to reach whoever our niche crowd is. For me as an educator, is families and children. For others, it could be some other group of people, but whatever we want to do to reach them, taking whatever we have and growing that to do more with it, at least that's my experience.
That's so interesting. Now, what stage of growth did you start generating revenue from YouTube?
YouTube monetizes you. I think I got to 1,000 subscribers, and it was after 1,000 subscribers, and I think I went to 5,000. It was in a short couple of months, but the driving force there was the community. And I always say I do have an army of children behind me that people don't necessarily see. A lot of children have their own devices. So a lot of the children in my school, because I currently work at a school, they follow me and they spread the word. And I think that also is part of the growth, even where the parents may not know, in the sense that they may not have been aware of me, but just the fact that, the kids know a teacher or know this is my teacher, or that's she's in my school and she's on YouTube. So they help to spread the word. But I grew very fast, I think primarily because of that. And I became monetized, I think, after about a full year. I think I'm going into my fourth year now into YouTube. I think after about a full year of just constantly releasing videos, I can do better, that I know. I've diversified into other interests, but I was more frequent with the videos and I was more intentional about why I was releasing it and who I was releasing it for. And then eventually it spread into just releasing it based on suggestions and questions I was receiving from, just folks asking questions like, can you share tips on how to better help with homework? Can you share tips on how to make my child a better reader? And then I will make videos on that. So I was making videos to help maybe sometimes particular questions or a particular group of people that requested it. And I think that also helped with growing and expanding.
Well, I think that's a great goal for some of our authors that just want to start a YouTube channel. 1 year, 1,000 subscribers. They probably already have fans and followers and readers. Now, just to close this section, I want to know if you have any tips for specifically selling your children's books on YouTube for our authors.
I would say the best tip that I have not yet utilized, but I'm about to, is making read alouds of books. As an educator myself, that is the number one thing most educators go to YouTube for. We go to search for books that have either been animated or just are great read alouds that the children can both see and listen to. That's a great way. I'm about to do that myself. Um, but that's a great way to promote your book. You can have a read aloud that you create a video of, or you create a video of, or you can have your book opened up and just read aloud, making the visuals big enough and just creating a simple, I wouldn't even use the word animation, just creating visuals, just flipping through the pages and having your viewers read along with you is such a powerful tool. I think it helps to promote books. And then guess what? Your book is on there, and then viewers can go back and reread and rewatch and have access to the book. And then eventually, what happens is you also want to get a physical copy of the book.
Well, Dr. Alici, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on YouTube growth.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to share.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with Harvard educated educator, author, and YouTuber, Dr. Elechi Osueke. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.